Welcome to Storied Audio. Emily was standing on the back porch, arms wrapped around herself, watching her children race through the tall grass. Lily's laughter carried first, bright and high. Then came Noah's determined shouts as he tried to keep up with his older sister. They were barefoot and happy in a way only children who grew up on open land could be. And she was about to take it all away from them. The thought tightened her chest. She blinked hard, swallowing the sting in her eyes. The property taxes, the mortgage her parents had refinanced before they passed, the endless repairs, she couldn't keep up anymore. Not on a single mother's salary. Not after the divorce. Not after everything. Tomorrow a potential buyer was coming. And tomorrow she would start packing up the life she had fought so hard to keep. The next morning she was sweeping the front porch when a dark blue truck pulled into the gravel drive. A man stepped out. Tall, maybe mid-30s, with dark hair and a quiet confidence that made her straighten instinctively. "Hi," he said, offering a warm smile. "I'm Daniel. I'm here to see the property." She nodded, brushing a loose strand of hair behind her ear. "I'm Emily. Thanks for coming." They walked the land together, her pointing out the barn her father built, the apple trees her mother planted, the creek where her kids spent entire afternoons catching minnows. He listened, really listened, his eyes softening as she spoke. When they reached the old guest house, he paused, studying the weathered siding and sagging porch. "This place has good bones," he murmured. "It used to," she said with a sad laugh. "I don't have the money to fix it. Or anything else, really." He turned to her. "Why are you selling?" She hesitated. But something about him, his steady presence, his lack of judgment, made honesty feel safe. "I don't have a choice," she said quietly. "It's too much for me alone. I'll have to find something smaller for me and the kids. Something I can afford." He was silent for a moment, looking from her to the house, then back again. Then his expression shifted, thoughtful, almost bright. "What if," he said slowly, "you didn't have to move?" She blinked. "What do you mean?" "What if I bought the property," he said, gesturing around them, "and renovated the guest house for myself? You and your kids could stay in the main house. I don't mind having neighbors. Especially ones who clearly love this place." She stared at him, stunned. "You're joking." "I'm not." Her heart thudded. "Why would you do that?" He shrugged lightly. "Because I can. And because it seems like the right thing to do." She searched his face for any sign of insincerity. There was none. And so, with a trembling breath, she said yes. A month later, the sound of hammers and saws filled the air. Noah and Lily pressed their faces to the window every morning, fascinated. "Mom, what's happening?" Noah asked one afternoon. "A nice man is fixing up the guest house," she said, ruffling his hair. "He's going to live there." Their eyes widened with excitement. When Daniel finally moved in, Emily baked a cake. Chocolate, his favorite, though she only knew that because he'd mentioned it once in passing. She and the kids carried it across the yard and he welcomed them inside with a grin. The transformation was stunning. Warm wood floors, soft lighting, a stone fireplace. It felt like a home pulled from a magazine. "It's beautiful," she said, genuinely awed. "Thank you," he replied. "I had good inspiration." They shared dinner, then cake, then hours of conversation. Daniel played tag with the kids in the yard afterward, letting them tackle him into the grass. Their laughter echoed across the property, and something in Emily's chest loosened for the first time in years. Over the next months, Daniel became part of their lives. He fixed the fence without being asked. He taught Noah how to skip rocks. He helped Lily build a tree swing. And slowly, gently, he became someone Emily looked for at the end of the day. One evening, as they stood by the creek watching fireflies rise from the grass, he turned to her. "Emily," he said softly, "would you like to go on a date with me?" Her cheeks warmed. "Yes," she whispered. The next weekend, after her ex picked up the kids, Daniel drove her into town. The restaurant he chose was cozy, not flashy, just good food, warm lighting, and a quiet corner booth. He never flaunted his wealth, though she knew he had plenty. He treated her like she mattered, not like she was someone to impress. After dinner, they walked through the city, hands brushing until he finally took hers. They talked about their pasts, her difficult marriage, his long-ago heartbreak, the years they both spent alone trying to rebuild. Felt like something real. But real things attract storms. When her ex found out she was dating Daniel, he filed for full custody. Claimed the kids weren't safe with a stranger living on the property. Claimed she was irresponsible. Claimed anything he could think of to hurt her. She broke down the night she got the papers. Daniel held her as she cried, then quietly said, "We'll fight this." He hired an attorney for her. Sat beside her in court. Supported her without ever overstepping. And she kept her children. A few months later, Daniel had to leave the country for business. Before he left, they spent the night together. Soft whispers, warm skin, the kind of closeness that made her believe in love again. She missed him terribly while he was gone. Then the letter arrived. It was anonymous. Accusing him of lying. Of hiding things. Of being dangerous. Her stomach twisted as she read it. Old fears clawed up her throat. She barely slept until he returned. When he walked into her kitchen, she handed him the letter with shaking hands. "What is this about?" she asked, voice trembling. He read it, jaw tightening. For a long moment he said nothing. Then quietly, "I knew this might happen." Her heart dropped. "So it's true." "Some of it," he admitted. "Years ago my ex started seeing someone else. I confronted him. Got physical. We both got arrested. She later claimed I was stalking her, but that wasn't true. I just wanted my grandmother's ring back, the one she refused to return after we broke up." He rubbed his forehead. "It's all in the past. She still tries to stir things up sometimes. But there's nothing she can do." Emily felt torn, fear battling with the months of kindness, patience, and love she had seen in him. She looked into his eyes, searching for the man who had played with her children in the yard, who had saved her home, who had stood by her in court. He was still there. And she chose to believe him. A year passed. A year of healing, laughter, shared meals, and quiet mornings. A year of building something steady and beautiful. One spring afternoon they walked by the creek, the same place he had first asked her out. Daniel stopped, turning to her with a nervous smile. "Emily," he said, voice thick with emotion, "I love you. I love your kids. I love this place. And I want to spend my life with all of you." He knelt, pulling out a small velvet box. "Will you marry me?" Tears blurred her vision. "Yes," she whispered. Their wedding was small and perfect. Lily scattered petals as the flower girl. Noah carried the rings with solemn pride, and the wind moved softly through the fields, like her parents were there, smiling. They became a family. A real one. A strong one. And the land that once felt like a burden became the place where everything finally began again. Subscribe for more audio stories.